Hello and welcome to another version of our Bosch 351 Blue Oval Car Barn take it apart, put it back together video. This is a Bosch 351. It was purchased originally new in Taos, New Mexico. It was originally purchased, a husband and wife purchased identical green and white Bosch 351s, brand new in 1971. They had a little dust up, ended up ramming one into the other and destroying one. And this is the green one that belonged to the husband. It survived. I've recently found it and I'm taking it apart and starting to categorize all the hardware, nuts, bolts, and brackets. I've been rebuilding Bosch 351s and Cobra Jet 351s for a bunch of years. I actually had one in high school, so I've been through this a lot. And I typically take the hardware, put it in plastic bags, and then eventually I pull it out, sort it all out, clean it all up, put it back in the car. I've decided now, 40 years too late, that I'm going to take every nut and bolt and fastener out of this, categorize it, tag it, name it, put a number on it, so in the future I'll know exactly how many of every bolt I need, nut, bracket, fastener of any kind, washer, to go with every car. So that's what we're doing here. This car here is essentially rust-free because it came out of New Mexico. There's very little rust on this car, the floorboards, everything. I'm just going to DA sand this car and put it back together. I'm not going to sandblast it. It doesn't need it. It's as solid as a rock. And as you come in here, we're going to take a picture of the VIN number here. You'll see the VIN number. You'll see how good of condition the VIN number is. Typically, there's a fender that goes over this, and water and snow and all kinds of things compile and they penetrate, they infiltrate into that fit. And typically these numbers are partially destroyed, sometimes completely destroyed. There are some cars I do where I can barely get just a ghost of 2 or 3 of the numbers, which is enough to verify it's the correct car, but it's not very attractive. You'll see that these are pristine. This whole car is probably the most solid, lowest rust body of any Bosch 351 I've ever purchased. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this car back into somewhat original condition, rebuild the engine, transmission, rear end, get the car sanded, cleaned, and primered, and then we're going to put it aside. We've got some others to go ahead of it. This one probably won't get to paint into assembly for several years. But it's a dark green metallic, black standard interior, Bosch 351 that you'll see in 3 or 4 years in the Blue Oval Car Barn. And we'll occasionally drop back to this program and show it. When we get it sanded and primered and we get the engine done, we'll come back and show you some more about it. Now we're going to give you a little information on what we're doing here with the hardware. What the program here is for me to identify every nut, bolt, hardware, and bracket in a 71 Mustang, specifically a Bosch 351. The majority of it will be the same for any car that you do of a 71, but there'll be some slight changes because some of the CJ and 351 brackets and pieces and fuel lines and so forth are different, so there'll be a little difference. For instance, here are the horn bolts. These are the bolts that hold the horns in place. So now I'll be able to, once I have this whole table identified, I'll be able to go through and determine every place that the same bolt is used. If that same bolt is used in other places, I'll identify that in my storage system and I'll know it takes 2 of these bolts in every car, and I'll be able to go pull the parts out very simply and assemble a parts kit to assemble a car, which hopefully will speed up our process. For instance, here's the steering shaft coupler bolt. It's a very special bolt. Okay, it's unusual. There won't be another one like this one in the car, but quite a bit of the hardware, quite a few of the brackets, hold downs, nuts, and washers will be used 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places in the car. What I'm trying to do now is identify every place in the car that uses the exact same piece of hardware and then identify them with my own numbering system. So that's what I'm working on here at the Blue Oval Car Barn. When I get it done, I'll be able to spread this information out throughout the Bosch 351 and CJ world and maybe help somebody in the future. I wish I'd have done this 40 years ago. That's really all I got today. We've got a green Bosch 351 we're about to start on. We just finished a red one last week. We happen to have a medium blue metallic and a pewter car in paint. We have a Grabber lime green car still in metal work. It'll be out in a week or so and headed to paint. And we have a red Super Cobra Jet sports roof in metal right now. So from the Blue Oval Car Barn, watch us on Facebook, follow these projects along. We'll see you soon. Stop by, come see us right underneath the Crazy Water sign down the street from the Baker Hotel in fabulous Mineral Wells, Texas. Stop by, we'll drive one of these cars. I'll teach you something about the old days and I'll buy you a barbecue sandwich. See you soon from Mineral Wells, Texas, over and out from the Blue Oval Car Barn.